Greetings, everybody. Great you could be with us again for our quick weekly update of the travel sentiment study work that we're doing with our very good friends at Longwoods. And we're joined again by Amir Elon, President and CEO of Longwoods International. We've been doing this study now over the last 2+ months, and I'll pass over to Amir in a moment for an update. Just a quick reminder, this research, along with a huge range of other resources, plus all our webinar updates, including forthcoming webinars, recordings of past webinars, are all available on our Clarity in a Time of Crisis Communication Center. And we do a 2-page summary each week that's available on that site that you can tap into along with this weekly recording. So without further ado, let me pass over to Amir. What are we seeing in the research this week, Amir?
Well, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, Chris and everyone. Thanks for having me back. Saw several interesting things this week. First of all, the usual stat we start off with, 77% of travelers planning travel in the next 6 months either have or will be changing their plans. The pattern holds steady at about half canceling their trip completely. Of course, we've missed spring break, we've missed some graduation travel, and a lot of the early summer travel plans changing. A lot of reduction in travel plans, as you can see also. And one of the primary ways travel plan has been reduced or changed is changing to drive destinations from fly destinations, as you can see on the data there. Looking at the next slide here. Oops, went a little too far back there. There we go. What we've seen is something very interesting here, which is directionally we're heading in the right direction. We peaked up at 85% of those changing their plans April 8th. We're now down to 77% as of this past week, and that's a good news, but it's a slow march back to normal, as they say. Again, the other factors have all been stabilized. We're happy to see that. We hope they will start changing back downward soon, as the majority of our country is now entering some phase of reopening. The travel reopening for non-essential travel, most plans that we've seen so far have been phase 2 or phase 3. We do know from what we're hearing from the consumers, what we're seeing in other researchers in addition to ours, is that the road trip, the regional road trip, is going to be #1 priority for getting away once things open. So no surprises there that 22% are going to be changing to drive markets there. Every week, as you know, we've been asking what is going to be the major factor that's going to impact the decision to travel in the next 6 months. The 3 areas we keep asking about are transportation costs, which again still seem to remain negligible, concerns about the economy holding steady at about 1/4, and the overarching 500-pound gorilla in the room continues to be fear of coronavirus. However, when we're looking at this, the trending data, again, fear of coronavirus is taking quite a journey. March 11th, it was only 35%. On April 1st, it peaked up at 2/3. And look at that. We are now well into a directional shift here, down to 54% there. In terms of when do the economic terms perk up, we still think as long as the fear of coronavirus is over 50%, it's going to far greatly outweigh any pocketbook concerns. And they also couple that with the fact that a lot of this initial travel is going to be local/regional road travel versus long-haul travel. Those types of getaways tend to be much less expensive on the pocketbook. So those with just a little bit with desire to travel, a little bit of discretionary income to travel, are going to be able to afford that. So the affordability of the regional travel is probably helping keep this number steady. Again, the $64,000 questions, about 69% of travelers are planning to travel in the next 6 months. That intent to travel still remains very, very high there. But as you can see, while we are up from when we bottomed out at the beginning of April, that ball of pent-up demand continues to run into the wall of fear. I'm looking forward to the day where I don't do this little hand graphic for you here. We every week we ask another question or two. We decided to re-ask a question that we checked on at the beginning of last month, which was what type of information and content is of greatest interest to travelers currently. You can see that the number one clearly there was deals and offers for travel, dining, and entertainment for future use, followed by information on delivery and takeout food options in the community, and of course ways to support local business. And then other forms of information there. When we compare it to where it was, we compare it to where it was just beginning of last month, you will see that the deals and offers for travel, dining, and entertainment actually jumped up from number 3 to number 1, which is telling us that people are starting to think more about travel. You also see increases in use of videos, inspirational videos that many destinations have been showing, live stream performances, etc. They've all gone up since last month. Last but not least, we asked travelers' perceptions, both as travelers and as residents. We asked about their support of opening up their community to welcome visitors back, and also feeling safe to travel outside their communities. Well, folks, it's clear we have a divided country on these two issues here. Even the travelers are telling us, that you can see pretty split there, that there's mixed opinions on whether or not they feel safe on venturing out, even though they are very eager to venture out. And then that third factor on the bottom there, I feel safe welcoming visitors back to my community. If you add the two shaded areas on the left together and the two shaded areas on the right together, you basically see an exact even split on those who disagree, those who are neutral, and those who agree. As destination marketers, for many of you listening in today, I think there's an interesting insight here. Those who agree are going to be, they're the ones that are eager to travel. They're going to be traveling. Those who disagree are going to be waiting for the health officials and others to tell them it's safe to travel and safe to have visitors back in the community. It's that middle group, that 31%, you need to look at and see, and they're the ones that you need to make sure your messaging includes something about the safety and the cleanliness of the environment that you're going to provide them in the travel experience in your destination. So once again, my friend Chris, that's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
Thanks a lot, Amir. So stability, as we can see, so we've got this these two countervailing forces. So basically this pent-up desire running into the concern and confusion over COVID-19. US travelers are cautiously exploring new opportunities. That's starting very much in the local community, and then, as Amir was mentioning, VFR travel and drive travel. And so we've suggested some specific actions there. Engaging with your locals, that's got to be fundamental in this time. We need welcoming communities, and obviously we need locals getting out and about. We need to be supporting our industry, getting them ready for reopening, and keeping them in business wherever we can. And then frankly, we need better leadership at a state and a federal level to deal with the confusion and the concern. So thanks again for joining us this week. We'll have an update next week, and all the very best.